Yes guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to episode number 6 of our EAFC 26 career mode here with West Ham United in the Premier League. Hope you are all doing well, and we are kicking off with a international offer from a men's international team, which is Sweden. And as we said a couple of episodes ago when we got offered the France women's team job, we don't feel like we're ready for international management at the minute, so we did reject that. And then we did get a couple of offers from Frankfurt and from Real Sociedad for Ollie Scholes to go on loan, but as we said in the last episode, again, we want him to go to a team where he's going to be starting games, and we do reject both those offers. Then we did get a message from Fabianski, or from a board, saying we haven't met Fabianski's wage demands and to get rid of him. We've already agreed to sell with Southampton, so I don't know what they're going on about, but either way, he's obviously moved to Southampton. And then we go into the first game of the episode, and we are at home at the London Stadium, but it is against Liverpool, which we knew was going to be a really tricky game. And you will notice throughout this episode that we are experimenting with the team, with formations. We know that we haven't got off to the greatest start, and that is probably an understatement, to be fair. We've got off to a horrendous start, let's be honest, in the league this season, so we knew we had to make some change, whether it's personnel, whether it's formation, and we do make that first one in this game. We are changing to 3 at the back, and we actually started off really well. We do get the lead unexpectedly in just the 8th minute against Liverpool, and it is that man Callum Wilson starting up front ahead of Fulkrug who gets the goal. A really good cross in, and then Callum Wilson was by himself and he managed to put the ball in back of the net. And he got another good chance there just 10 minutes later from point blank range, but unfortunately Alisson did manage to make the save. But obviously we knew Liverpool, the quality they've got in their side, they were going to obviously cause us problems, and they did get a goal back just 20 minutes into the game. Cody Gakpo down that left hand side plays it into the new man Florian Wirtz, the money man for Liverpool, and he does sweep it into an empty net after Hermansen came out of the goal and did make the scores 1-1. And then a couple of minutes later they did get a chance to make the scores 2-1 to Liverpool, but luckily Hermansen was there, stood big and made the save from Cody Gakpo's shot. And then from a resulting corner, Salah looks to swing an outswinger into Konate, but fortunately couldn't do anything with it, couldn't get it on target, and it did go behind, and the scores once again stayed at 1-1. But just before half time, about 6 minutes before half time, another good chance for Salah there. Again, it was Hermansen who made the save, obviously coming in for Areola. We obviously know we've conceded a lot of goals this season, so we wanted to make the change and give Hermansen a chance, especially after his message as well saying he wanted more game time, so we give him that opportunity, and he's living up to his expectations so far with some really good saves. But unfortunately in the second half, Liverpool's quality really started to show, and it is another one of their new men, another one who cost a lot of money, Alexander Isak, who rifles that one below Hermansen and gives Liverpool, for the first time in the game, the lead of this game. They are 2-1 up, and they do unfortunately go 3-1 up with Salah getting his customary goal for Liverpool, and it puts him in double figures for the season. 10 goals for him that you will see in a minute. But can we just appreciate, and I know it's the opposition, but can we just appreciate that touch from Isak, that first time touch to play it into Mo Salah to get that goal? It's unbelievable touch from him, to be fair. And obviously Liverpool do go 3-1 up, and then as I say, Liverpool's quality really started to show. Mountain of chances for them. Obviously they've got 3 goals already after being at 1-1 at half time, and it was only going to get worse for us. But before they scored a couple more, which you will see in a second, we did make some good saves once again with Hermansen. One from Isak on the right hand side, similar shot to his goal, but a good save from Hermansen, and then obviously that save from the header to keep the ball out back of the net. And we did make some changes, looking to obviously try and get back into this game as best as we could, but unfortunately Liverpool did get their 4th of the game, and it's Alexis McAllister. I didn't actually think that was going to go in. He just sort of slid at the ball and then it looped over Hermansen in the goal and puts Liverpool 4-1 up, obviously at the London Stadium, and a really good scoreline for them, and they would actually carry on with this one. But before they got their 5th and final goal of the game, it was one of the substitutes for us who pulled a goal back for us, Lucas Paqueta. Good running behind the defence and slotted underneath Alisson in the Liverpool goal to make the scores 4-2. But unfortunately from a free kick just after that goal we scored, it's Szoboszlai takes free kicks, hits the post, and then Wirtz is there, it rebounds back straight into his path, and with a little diving header, Florian Wirtz gets his 2nd of the game and Liverpool's 5th of the game just before the end to make the score 5-2 to Liverpool, which is how the game was going to end. And you can see there, Wirtz, big money signing, already paying off with his 6th goal in 13 games. So a bad loss there, but probably not unexpected against the Liverpool side. But we went after that game to have a look into the youth academy. We brought a new youth player in, Reece Prince. He's a centre back. He's only 17 years old, already 63 rated. He's only 5'11" to be fair, so I don't know if centre back's going to be his role going forward. It says there obviously he can play CDM or left back, despite the fact he's right footed. But we decided to train him as a centre-back for now. He's got really good physical stats, to be fair, so maybe he's one for the future in that defence, but with his height, I'm not too sure whether we will keep him as a centre-back or not. But anyway, we go into the second game, and it's another tough game after that Liverpool defeat, and it is away from home, and it is against Manchester United, and we decided to go back to 4 at the back in this game, but as a 4-3-3. We obviously knew that they would possibly play 3 centre-backs at the back for them, so we wanted to make sure we could dominate that midfield, which is why we put the 3 men in that midfield, and hopefully another experiment. The 3 at the back formation against Liverpool, although we lost 5-2, it's against Liverpool, so it's one of those ones where we can't take too much from it, but we'll definitely revert back to that at some point to see if it can work against potentially weaker teams. But against a good Man United side, away from home, we wanted to obviously go back to the 4 to try and protect our defence, but it was United who started better of the teams. Lenny Yoro with a really good chance there from that corner, and then we'd already been warned about corners, and unfortunately United did take the lead, and it is the other centre-back, De Ligt, who gets a header. I don't know why. Somerville was the one marking De Ligt, probably our smallest player, marking one of their biggest players, and De Ligt powers that header into the top corner to give Manchester United an early 1-0 lead. But we got a good chance. Half an hour into the game, Callum Wilson gets played through. The goalkeeper comes out for Manchester United. Callum Wilson looks to chip it over him, but unfortunately got a little bit too much on it, and it did go straight over the crossbar. And then just before half time, Paqueta gets a long range shot with his left foot, but unfortunately saved by the United keeper, and we did go into half time 1-0 down in this game. But we made a change at half time. We did bring Füllkrug on for Callum Wilson, and he got a good early chance there. The reason we brought him on was because obviously we were getting play down the wing, obviously in this 4-3-3 formation, and we knew we needed a big target man to win those headers, which is what he did in that chance, but unfortunately was saved. And then he got a really good chance there, but a really poor shot, and that one was saved by the goalkeeper as well. And then 65 minutes into the game, it's Jarrod Bowen who swings a really nice ball in with his left foot, and it's the other winger, Crescencio Somerville, who's there free in space on that left hand side of the box, and he smashes a volley on his left foot to get his second goal of the game and bring the scores back to 1-1, and in a position where we could potentially get a point. And then just before the end of the game, we're holding on for our lives at this point. United really attacking, but unfortunately it was their new money signing, Benjamin Sesko, gets a last minute winner for Manchester United. He found himself in space in the middle of the box, and all he had to do was sweep it into the back of the net, and that did give Manchester United the 2-1 lead, which is how the game unfortunately ended. So we held out right until the last minute. We were on course for a point here, but unfortunately that did mean we did lose the game. And then just looking at the table here, Aston Villa surprisingly top of the league. No losses so far for Aston Villa, but if we look at ourselves, we still haven't seen ourselves just yet, and we are unfortunately bottom of the league on 6 points, 3 points off of Burnley in 19th and 5 points off of safety. So we really need to pick our game up, and we go into the third game, the last Premier League game of this episode, against Brighton. We revert back to that 3 formation. We said obviously Liverpool was going to be a bit of an outlier, so we wanted to try that 3 formation out against a potentially not as good on paper team as Liverpool were, and we felt this game against Brighton would be the opportunity for that. And we are away, we are at the Amex, and that is an unbelievable setting for a game of football. And I actually live down near the Brighton Stadium, and it's, to be fair, the realism on that's unbelievable, because I go up and down that road next to the stadium a fair amount, and fair play to EA for obviously including, I've mentioned it before, but for including these shots pre-game of the stadiums, the surrounding areas. But it was unfortunately a snowy day down on the south coast at Brighton, which wasn't going to make the game easy, but we knew we definitely had a chance against the Brighton team. We knew if we could pick up some form with a couple of players, we had an opportunity to at least get a point, but potentially even get the win. Brighton were about 11th in the league, I think, and we were obviously bottom of the league at this point, so we knew it was going to be easy, but we knew we definitely had a chance, and there were chances both teams. Füllkrug got a really good chance early on in the game, and then Brighton had a few good opportunities there to try and get one back, but we actually took the lead in this game. A really poor pass from Lewis Dunk, cut out by Nicholas Füllkrug, found Jarrod Bowen in the middle, and Jarrod Bowen does what he does best and slots it away to get his 7th goal of the game. And it's no surprise, Jarrod Bowen, we put him back up front for one game and he gets a goal in it, so definitely something we need to think about of how we can keep Jarrod Bowen as our main striker, because obviously he's the one who's going to cause the biggest goal threat for us. But another good chance there for James Ward-Prowse from range with his left foot, really powerful shot to be fair, but a good save from Bart Verbruggen. And then just 5 minutes later, Brighton had a good chance. It's Cairo Mitoma, solely marched down that right hand side, got past the defender, plays it into Mitoma, and Mitoma smashes it past Hermansen, our goal, to bring the scores back to 1-1. And unfortunately, obviously, we had the 1-0 lead but couldn't hang on to it, and we were now at 1-1. But unfortunately, Brighton actually did take the lead. A really good ball over from a goal scorer, Kaoru Mitoma. Welbeck beat or got past his defender and found himself in space. And to be fair, really good finish. The ball coming over his shoulder, gets a volley in, keeps it controlled, keeps it low, and fires it in to give Brighton that 2-1 lead. And that is how we did go into half time. So we knew we had to come out and we knew we had to try and cause something in this second half. And it was Somerville who had the first opportunity just a couple of minutes in. But unfortunately, his shot from range with that left foot did get saved by the goalkeeper. And then Brighton themselves had a really good chance here. Jorginho Ruta, really good turn, really good shot, but hit Hermansen in our goal, and fortunately for us it did hit the post and no other concerns. But we got another really good chance here from Füllkrug, and you remember he had a good couple of chances in that last game against United that he couldn't put away, and unfortunately he couldn't put that one away either from pretty much an open goal. So maybe one we need to look at. Maybe he's completely out of form, we need to look to replace him. But fortunately we did manage to get the equaliser, and it is the main man, Lucas Paqueta. Really good link-up play, a little 1-2 just on the edge of the box, and a really good finish from Paqueta to bring the scores to 2-2. And then Füllkrug again gets the chance to make it 3-2, but once again couldn't put that opportunity past the goalkeeper. And again, Füllkrug's poor performances in front of goal continues. But we did make a couple of changes. We did bring Walker-Peters on that wing, and we did bring Magassa on for Souček in that defence midfield role. And obviously we're looking to try and get a winner from this corner. The ball comes to Walker-Peters, plays the ball in, unfortunately head out by the defender, and then Magassa picks the ball up, first 2 touches of his game, hits one post, hits the other post, and goes in to give us the 3-2 lead. And it is that man, Sungutu Magassa, gets his first goal of the season. And like I say, it was literally, he'd just come on, his first couple of touches. It wasn't the most powerful shot ever, but the accuracy, whether he meant it or not, the accuracy meant it came off the post, and it did obviously go into the back of the net. And obviously we were looking at this point to get the 3 points, but Todibo makes a mistake, tries to dribble the ball out of the defence, and unfortunately does lose it. And it's Ruta who gets the ball, lobs it over our goalkeeper Hermansen, and manages to equalise for Brighton in the last minute of the game. So obviously we conceded a sort of winner for Manchester United in the last minute in the last game, and unfortunately we've conceded an equaliser in the last minute of this game. So we definitely need to make sure going forward, if we can get the point or get the lead, we stay strong defensively and keep that point or the 3 points intact. And we've got a couple of messages from James Ward-Prowse, from Lucas Paqueta and Souček all around their contracts. Ward-Prowse and Souček saying that they're not in a position that they want to negotiate their contracts just yet, but the big man Lucas Paqueta does say, due to obviously the conditions and everything like that, he does feel like he is in a position to renew his contract. So we just look at the 3 players. Souček with a year and a half left in his contract, Ward-Prowse with a year and a half left on his contract, and Paqueta also with a year and a half left on his contract. And obviously we'll definitely take the opportunity of Lucas Paqueta wanting a new contract. We know he's a great player. 28 years old, so obviously potentially could be on the decline in a couple of years, but we'll definitely take the opportunity to offer him a new contract and keep him at West Ham United. And then the other 2, obviously we'll see what happens over the next year or so. They've still got contract time with us. We're not going to make any rash decisions in terms of getting rid of them, but we'll see what happens over the next year and a half and see if we can get to any opportunity where we can offer them a contract or whether they will leave the club. But we do offer Paqueta a 1-year extension. Like I say, he's already got a year and a half, so that'll give him a 2.5-year contract with us. He's 28 years old, so that'll take him up to 30 years old, which obviously, when, I know this isn't always the case, but when generally players start to lose value and potentially could be looked to move on. So we'll definitely take that 1-year extension, pretty much the same terms of what he's on now, only £1,000 a week more than what he's currently on, and we do agree that year extension. So really good news, and he's looking to sort of celebrate that new contract by starting this game away from home at the Hill Dickinson Stadium against Everton in the 3 at the back formation once again. And this is the quarter final of the Carabao Cup. We know league form's been poor, obviously bottom of the league at the minute, but Carabao Cup's been really basically what's kept us in our job, I think, to be fair, and kept a lot of the players in the starting lineup. Obviously we're in the quarterfinals now, and both teams are going to want to look to get through this game and get into the semi-finals. And we make a few changes. We've got youngsters, Freddie Potts and Luis Guilherme starting this game. Guilherme with a good shot there, unfortunately just wide of the post, but we do sprinkle that with some first team players. Jarrod Bowen starting, Lucas Paqueta starting, El Hadj Malik Diouf starting, but unfortunately we do actually concede a penalty early on, just in the 9th minute, and it is Igor Julio who gives away a penalty right on the edge of the box, to be fair, and wasn't a bad challenge at all, but just mistimed it a little bit. The player sort of fell into his leg, and unfortunately did go out for a penalty. So Iliman Ndiaye looking to give Everton an early 1-0 lead, and fortunately for us, he gets it all wrong and fires it wide of the post. You'll see on the replay, a fair way wide in the end as well. Areola back in goal for us, obviously in a cup competition. He dived the wrong way, so luckily it did get dragged wide and it did stay 0-0, but it didn't stay 0-0 for too long, and it was Beto who did manage to get the goal to give Everton the lead at home in this game. Igor Julio, the defender, dived in once when Beto didn't have the shot, and then dived in again, but it was a little bit too late, and unfortunately it was that 1-0 lead for Everton at this stage. But we obviously wanted to look to get back into it. El Hadj Malik Diouf plays the ball across, and it's that man Callum Wilson. We mentioned about Fulkrug's form at minute, but Callum Wilson just keeps managing to pick up goals whenever he gets minutes, and he gets the goal to get his third goal in his fourth game in this competition and bring the scores back to 1-1, and definitely someone will be looking to potentially replace Fulkrug in the first team in Premier League over the next coming games, provided his form does stay up. And we do get another really good chance here. Bowen plays it out to Magassa, Magassa plays it into Guilherme. Guilherme's in loads of space, gets a shot away, and the young winger from Brazil smashes that one past Jordan Pickford and actually gives us a 2-1 lead, which obviously we know what's happened the last couple of games. We know that obviously the Man United game we lost the winner to Man United in the last minute, and we know against Brighton we lost and they got the equaliser in the last minute. So this second half was going to be all about keeping that lead for us and obviously not conceding any last minute equalisers, or if there are any more goals, not conceding any last minute winners for Everton, and obviously looking to progress into the next round in the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup. But coming in the second half, it was actually us who got a really good opportunity. First of all, Guilherme again down that right hand side, plays into Jarrod Bowen, point blank range, but saved by his England teammate Jordan Pickford, and then Everton started really picking up. Dwight McNeil there with a good shot from him, but fortunately for us, Areola was there and managed to tip it behind from the corner. And from a resulting corner, Jake O'Brien, who rises highest, gets a header in, but fortunately for us, puts it wide of the post. And then we look to make some changes. Guilherme and Bowen both coming off, Walker Peters and Fulkrug both coming on, looking, as I say, to obviously try and preserve that lead. And then just 10 minutes before the end, it's El Hadj Malik Diouf, plays it into Wilson with a chance for his second of the game, but couldn't quite get his body around it, and it's saved by Jordan Pickford. And then just a couple of minutes later, it's Diouf again, plays it into Fulkrug, gets the knockdown, Paqueta slides in to keep the ball out of Jordan Pickford's hands, it's falls to Fulkrug, another really good opportunity for him in this episode, but smashes it wide of the post and keeps the scores at 2-1. And then we do make the final change for us in this game with El Hadj Malik Diouf, played really well in this game to be fair, coming off for the youngster Ollie Scholes on that left hand side to just add a little bit of energy into this game and hopefully see this game out. And the last chance really comes to Fulkrug. Unfortunately, Jordan Pickford dives on the ball and keeps that one out, but that is going to be that in this game, and we do manage finally to keep hold of a lead, and we do win this game at 2-1, which puts us through to the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup. I'll show you what other teams are in the quarter-finals and potentially semi-final opponents, and if we can make it potential final opponents in the Carabao Cup, which will be unbelievable. The season we've had so far will be unbelievable to get to a final of the Carabao Cup and give us a chance at winning a trophy. But I just want to give a shout out on this game. We had some really good players who haven't played a lot of minutes this season. Lewis Guilherme, one of them, obviously got his goal. And I want to give a massive shout out to Mavropanos, because he played this game. He played in a game earlier in the episode as well, and he's actually been unbelievable. But one player who's not happy with his game time is Matheus Fernandes, so we'll have to have a look at that. And there's the other quarter-finalists in the Carabao Cup: Wrexham, Brentford, Forest, Fulham, Chelsea and Spurs. So Chelsea and Spurs probably the winner of that, the favourite. So we'll see who we get in the semi-final, and then obviously hopefully get through that into the final. But that is going to bring the episode to an end. As always, please comment any suggestions down below. Please subscribe to follow the journey and like the video if you have enjoyed it. As always, take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.